Welcome back to our channel, Asma English. Today, we are diving into the final part of our journey with Elias and Lena. We've followed them through their first encounters, the growth of their bond, and the mysteries of the studio, the shadows, the hidden traces, and the secrets waiting to be discovered. In this last segment, the story reaches its peak. Secrets will be unveiled, tensions will rise, and the connection between teacher and student will face the ultimate test. Every sketch, every shadow, every quiet glance matters. Get ready, because today we are exploring the final chapter of our tale, the conclusion you've been waiting for. Let's step back into the studio and see how it all unfolds. So far, we've followed Elias, a dedicated art teacher, and Lena, his talented and determined student, through a journey of discovery, emotions, and subtle tensions. In part 1, we witnessed their first encounters, the delicate dance between guidance and personal growth, and the quiet, unspoken connection that slowly began to form between them. Their studio became more than a classroom. It became a place where thoughts, feelings, and hidden struggles intertwined, captured in every line, every brushstroke. In part 2, the story grew more complex. Lena returned, stronger and more confident, yet a sense of mystery began to surface. She noticed strange shadows and marks in the studio, subtle hints that something beyond their lessons was unfolding. The quiet understanding between Elias and Lena deepened, but with it came questions, tensions, and the awareness that their journey was about to take a turn. Now, in part 3, their world is about to change even more. Secrets will be revealed, challenges will test both skill and courage, and unexpected events will force them to confront not only the art they create, but the truths they have kept from themselves and each other. As shadows and whispers grow stronger, Elias and Lena are about to step into new territory, one that promises growth, danger, and the continuation of their intertwining destinies. Prepare to enter the studio once more, where every corner hides a secret, every sketch holds a clue, and every interaction carries the weight of unspoken emotions. The story continues, and nothing will be the same. Chapter 1: Echoes of the Unseen. Morning light spilled through the studio windows, casting long shadows across the worn wooden floor. Elias entered first, carrying the calm authority of years spent guiding young artists. Yet today, the air felt different, charged, expectant, as though the walls themselves awaited something. Lena arrived moments later, sketchbook tucked under her arm, steps cautious but determined. Her gaze briefly met Elias's, a quiet acknowledgement passing between them. Since noticing the strange shadow in the studio last week, she had felt a pull, an unseen presence urging her attention. Students settled into their usual rhythm, brushes moving, pencils scratching. Elias walked among them, offering guidance, but his eyes continually sought Lena. Her hand hovered above the paper, deliberate and precise, as if waiting for something invisible to reveal itself. Today, he said finally, we explore not just what we see, but what hides beneath the spaces between lines, the pauses between brushstrokes. Shadows have stories too. Lena began to draw, each line flowing with a growing intensity, capturing forms that seemed alive, almost shifting before the eye. Elias watched closely, a mixture of pride and unease stirring within him. She had grown beyond technique, touching something deeper, something neither fully understood. During a short break, Lena looked at him. "Do you think some things try to speak to us?" Yes, he said, meeting her gaze. And often, the first thing we notice is only the surface. Truths hide in quiet moments, waiting for eyes willing to see. Returning to her work, Lena's sketches began revealing subtle hints of figures and movement, forms familiar yet unfamiliar, blending light and shadow with careful precision. The studio seemed to hum, as though alive, the quiet tension building between teacher and student palpable. Chapter 2: The Hidden Imprint. The studio felt unusually quiet that morning, sunlight barely piercing the dust in the air. Elias entered first, sensing something unsettled, a faint echo of the shadow Lena had noticed lingering in his thoughts. The room seemed to hold its breath, waiting. Lena arrived shortly after, sketchbook under her arm, eyes scanning the corners with careful curiosity. She paused at the doorway, then stepped in, the tension in her posture betraying both excitement and caution. Elias watched her, noticing the way her fingers grazed the edge of her sketchbook, a silent preparation for what was to come. Students settled into their work, but Elias and Lena shared a silent connection. Every glance, every slight movement carried meaning beyond words. Elias moved among the tables, offering guidance, yet his attention kept returning to her, drawn to the intensity in her focus. "Pay attention not only to the lines," he said softly as he approached her desk, but to the spaces between them. Sometimes what is missing reveals more than what is there. Lena's pencil hovered, then pressed down with determination. Her sketch began to take form, a figure reaching toward a distant light, surrounded by swirling shadows. The studio felt alive, every corner humming with unseen energy. Elias sensed the tension between the visible and invisible, control and discovery. A faint sound from the back of the room made them both pause. A scraping, subtle yet deliberate. Lena froze, scanning the studio. Elias' hand moved instinctively toward a canvas, but all appeared unchanged. "Did you hear that?" she whispered. "I did," he replied, calm but alert. The studio tests those who pay attention. Sometimes it speaks only to those willing to notice. Chapter 3: Veiled Movements. The studio greeted them with its usual quiet, yet the air felt different, charged, expectant. Elias noticed the faint shadow Lena had discovered lingering in his thoughts, a silent question in every corner. Lena entered, sketchbook under her arm, eyes sharp and searching. She paused, sensing something unseen, a pull she couldn't explain. Elias watched, noting the tension in her posture, the careful grip on her pencil. Today's session was not just about drawing, it was about noticing what lay hidden. Students began their work, yet their presence seemed distant to Elias and Lena, who moved through a subtle dialogue of glances and unspoken understanding. Elias approached her table, voice calm but intentional, noticed the spaces, the pauses, the weight between lines. Shadows often hold truths unseen. Lena's pencil hovered before descending, strokes deliberate, forming shapes that seemed almost alive. Figures emerged from darkness, moving toward faint light, shadows curling around them. Elias felt a pull in the studio, an intensity neither fully understood. A soft noise echoed like a whisper against the floor. Lena froze, eyes wide, scanning. Elias followed, but nothing had shifted. "The studio watches," he murmured. "It reveals itself only to those who pay attention." Hours passed, filled with quiet observation and careful strokes. Lena's sketches captured more than form. They hinted at questions, hidden movements, and a presence beyond the visible. The room hummed with potential, with tension, with the promise of what was yet to come. By afternoon, light waned, amber across the walls. Elias stepped back, studying her work. Today had changed something subtle yet profound. Their bond with each other and the studio had deepened. As they tidied brushes, Elias felt a quiet thrill. The shadows would not remain silent, and the story unfolding between them was only beginning. Chapter 4: The Unveiled Trace. The late afternoon sun stretched amber light across the studio floor. Elias moved quietly among the tables, sensing the subtle shift since Lena had returned. The shadows seemed deeper, the air heavier, alive with expectation. Lena entered, sketchbook under her arm, eyes scanning the corners. She paused at the familiar shadow, the imprint that had lingered in her thoughts for days. Today, she approached it deliberately, pencil poised as if to capture more than shape. Elias watched, knowing this moment could change everything. "Focus not only on what you see," he said softly, "but on what wants to be revealed. Shadows carry stories words cannot." Her pencil moved with intent, forming figures intertwined with light and shadow. Each line seemed alive, hinting at fleeting movements and unspoken emotions. The studio responded, the walls, the air, the faint city hum, like it was aware of their attention. Then a faint shift caught their eyes. A corner of the room revealed a subtle outline, barely visible, as if pressed into memory. Lena's fingers trembled. Elias stepped closer. "These traces are not accidents," he murmured. "They are fragments of what the space remembers, waiting for those who notice." Hours passed in quiet focus. The sketches spoke of hidden truths, secrets, and emotions too delicate for words. Elias and Lena shared an unspoken connection, forged through attention, intuition, and trust. As the sun dipped behind rooftops, Lena set her pencil down. Elias nodded, sensing both completion and anticipation. They had uncovered part of the mystery, but the studio still held whispers of secrets yet to be revealed. The brushes were cleaned, sketches stacked, the studio calm again. Shadows had spoken, they had listened. And as they stepped into the evening, the city's hum felt different, full of promise, danger, and unseen paths yet to be explored. In Part 3, Elias and Lena faced the studio's hidden mysteries more directly. Shadows and subtle marks hint at secrets the space itself holds. Lena's sketches become more intense, capturing movements and forms that feel almost alive, while Elias guides her to see not just the surface, but the spaces between lines and strokes. Throughout 4 chapters, tension and curiosity build, strange noises, faint imprints on the walls, and the unspoken connection between teacher and student grows stronger. By the final chapter, the hidden traces reveal part of the mystery, but enough remains unseen to keep anticipation alive. Their journey ends with a sense of discovery, a strengthened bond, and a promise that the world they share through art and intuition is full of unseen possibilities. Now it's your turn. Share your thoughts in the comments. What do you think the faint shadows and marks in the studio truly represent? How do you see the relationship between Elias and Lena evolving beyond the story? Which sketch or moment in part 3 did you find the most mysterious or powerful? What do you think might happen if the story continued beyond this ending? Comment below with your answers. Thank you for joining us through this journey with Elias and Lena. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this story with friends who love mysteries and art. Part 3 may have ended, but the echoes of shadows, sketches, and secrets will stay with you. Stay curious, keep observing, and we'll see you in the next adventure.